What is domain? Domain of a function is the set of all possible input values for which a function is well defined. And range, the set of all possible output values which we get from a function is a result of the input values to the function. Domain values are independent values and they are often represented by the variable x. When we give some input values to a function, the function executes those values and gives us some output values as a result of that input. These output values are called the range of a function. Range values are dependent upon the domain values. So therefore, the variable y which represents range of a function is called dependent variable. So if we have a function y is equal to f of x, then variable x represents domain, f represents the function, and y is the dependent variable which is the range of the function. The domain values, which are the input values to the function, must be such that it results in the output values which are well defined real numbers. For example, if we have a function y is equal to 1 over under root x square minus 16, the domain of this function is that x must be greater than 4 and it must be smaller than minus 4, while the range of this function is y greater than 0. Since y must belong to real numbers, it must lie between minus infinity and plus infinity, which means that this term x square minus 16 cannot be equal to 0, because if it becomes 0, then anything divided by 0 will result in infinity, which we all know that a negative number in square root results in an imaginary number. So it means that this term x square minus 16 cannot be smaller than 0. That is, it cannot be negative. Now, the only possibility is that this term should be greater than 0. So x square minus 16 must be greater than 0. Now, if we move 16 to the other side, we get x square must be greater than 16, which means that x must be greater than 4 and smaller than minus 4, which represents the possible interval for x. Now since the numerator is positive and the denominator cannot be negative because it will result in an imaginary number, therefore the range can also not be negative. We also know that the numerator is not 0 and this term can also not become 0, so it means that the range cannot become 0 as well. So overall the range must be greater than 0. Checking the domain, if we put 4 here, this term will become 4 square, which is equal to 16. So 16 minus 16 will result in 0 and hence it will become infinity. Now if you put minus 4 over here, again it will result in 16 and 16 minus 16 again will become 0. Now if we put any value smaller than 4, then square of any number smaller than 4 will result in a number which will be less than 16.